How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 1.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States. I want you to know I sat on my front porch without bourbon or cigars last night. I suffered through that debate, stone cold sober, without even a cigar to chase away the mosquitoes. I suffered so that you did not have to. But I bet some of you did. So a buddy of mine texted me a little while ago, and he says, is your show going to be depressing today? Because if so, I don't think I can take it. No. It's a great show today. I got a lot lined up for you. Let's begin with, obviously, the debate. For those of you who recognize it was a terrible debate for Donald Trump, let me just say there are those on the right who have convinced themselves dogmatically so that it was actually a great debate for Donald Trump. Those are the people who have the version of Trump derangement syndrome where they can never abide criticism of their God. There's a level of idol worship there. If he did it, it had to be perfect. It was a bad debate for Donald Trump, but it's not going to matter, and here's why. This is the CBS focus group that was conducted after the debate. They watched the debate. They had the focus group. Listen to this.
She just basically repeated everything that Biden has said in the past.
What were your thoughts?
Donald Trump made a strong closing statement by saying, why didn't they do all the things that she's proposing during the 3.5 years that they've been in office? And Biden did this entire moderate stance back in 2020, and she's trying to do it again in 2024. But she didn't talk about her policy changes between 2020 and 2024. Her whole centrist, moderate stance is just a facade.
So here's the thing. Those were undecided, uncommitted, independent voters in Pennsylvania, and they were still lingering on the very first question of the debate that Kamala Harris chose not to answer about the economy. As an aside, the hacks at ABC News asked exactly one question on the economy and like 3 or 4 questions on abortion. Tells you everything you need to know. Now, here's the reality. Donald Trump had a bad debate, but Kamala Harris didn't have a great debate. She just had a debate in contrast to Donald Trump, and it was 4 against 1. It was not 3 against 1. We'll get to who the fourth person was. But first, let's also play you this from CNN.
Look at the economy here. Who would better handle the economy is what we ask. Going into the debate, before the debate, 37% said Harris, 53% Trump. After the debate, again, margin of error stuff here, but numerically she lost a little ground. 35% said so after the debate, that she would better handle the economy. 55% said Trump, and we know that is one of his strongest suits across the polling in this election, and he seemed to hang on to that piece in this debate tonight, according to our poll of debate watchers.
Yes. I mean, there's the issue here. This is the reality for Donald Trump and for Kamala Harris is Donald Trump had a bad debate. But if you go back to 2016, and in fact, a buddy of mine did, you go back to 2016 and you look at the polling, the snap polling from 2016. Here's what we had. CNN, who won the debate? 62-27 Clinton from CNN, 51-40 from PPP. 57-30 YouGov, 49-26 Politico, 48-22 Clinton Echelon, 56-26 Clinton Reuters, 52-21 NBC News Clinton, 61-27 Gallup for Clinton, 61-21 Fox News for Clinton, 53-18 ABC News for Clinton. Clinton won every single one of them. The worst polling for Clinton was 52-21. With others undecided. Or no, I take that back. PPP, a Democratic leading firm, 51-40. saying Clinton won the debate. Donald Trump did not have good debates. By the way, that was just the first debate in 2016. In the second debate in 2016, it was 57-34, Clinton versus Trump, according to CNN. The worst of that lot was 43-26 in favor of Clinton from Politico. Donald Trump lost every single debate he's ever had, and yet he still beat Hillary Clinton in 2016 in the Electoral College. Why? Because the economy and immigration are the biggest issues. Unfortunately for Donald Trump last night, he failed to execute until the very end, his closing statement. But pay attention to the people who don't pay attention to the debates. They came in and immediately asked Kamala Harris about the economy, and she whiffed it. And then at the end, Trump did have a good closing statement asking, why haven't you done this for 3.5 years? The problem for the people who paid attention to the debate the whole night was that Donald Trump should have started with, why haven't you done this for 3.5 years? And instead, he kept taking the bait. Now, what about the fourth person in the room? There was a problem with Donald Trump last night, and it was that fourth person in the room. And those are the formerly subsidized right-wing Russian edgelords who have been whispering in Donald Trump's ear a bunch of crazy stuff. And Donald Trump, well, he went down the rabbit hole that he shouldn't have gone down.
What's happening to the towns all over the United States, and a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase, make America great again. She's destroying this country, and if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success.
Okay. This is the problem with the right-wing edgelords who are formerly Russian subsidized who continue to say these wild things that some of you believe. By the way, today, I'm continuing to get from people that, no, I've seen the video. This was a Haitian woman who ate a cat. It was actually an American citizen, a woman in Canton, Ohio, who ate someone's cat. There's a video of it, and the police released the records. She's an American. She is not Haitian. She is clearly insane and having psychological issues, and she ate someone's cat. Canton, Ohio, not Springfield, Ohio. There is no evidence anywhere that people are eating pets in Springfield, Ohio. By the way, there is evidence they're eating the geese and the ducks. Not only have I had callers to this program, by the way, I'm the big talk show in Springfield, Ohio. People call in. They say, yeah, they're eating the ducks. They're eating the geese. This is well known. There's now 911 audio of people calling to say, hey, the Haitians are at it again. They're eating the geese out of the park. We got 911 audio. The Federalist released it yesterday, but it's the geese. No one's eating the puppies. No one's eating the cats. And Donald Trump decided to go off on they're eating the pets because the right-wing edgelords have lied in his ear about it, and Donald Trump hears that stuff. He's not in a protective bubble from the right-wing crazy, and he digested. He brought Laura freaking Loomer to the debate last night. Of course she was going to be crazy on the debate stage. Have you listened to this woman? So it was 4 against 1. It was the right-wing edgelords in his headspace. It was Kamala Harris, and it was the ABC moderators who were absolutely biased against Donald Trump. They fact-checked and corrected Donald Trump. Here's Chris Stirewalt on News Nation.
And what came through tonight, a couple things came through very clearly. Number one, Harris definitely got help from the moderators, right? They were fact-checking Trump hard. They were going after Trump much harder than her. The questions for Trump were more pointed than they were for her.
I mean, basically, David Muir and Lindsey Davis were asking questions, Mr. Trump, why do you suck so bad? And then asking Kamala Harris, what would you say about why Donald Trump sucks so bad? That was essentially it. CNN, by the way, the big winner of this debate, because there is no way any Republican is ever going to do a debate with ABC, CBS, or NBC again. ABC just absolutely destroyed the big three networks' media credibility. David Murr was just a smug a-hole last night in that debate, in the way he handled Trump, and Davis had an axe to grind from the moment the debate began. But you know what? If you're complaining about the refs, you're losing. In 1984, Ronald Reagan had a landslide victory, winning 49 of 50 states in the Electoral College, having gone through several withering debates where the media hated him. And there were only 3 big networks back then. They despised him. They asked him deep, tough technical questions in debates, trying to throw him off his game. They asked Walter Mondale very fluffy questions, and Reagan still won. It's possible to win. Donald Trump just lacked the discipline. But here's the thing. Donald Trump can still win. This race is either going to be on vibes or it's going to be on issues. If it's on vibes, he's going to lose. But it doesn't have to be on vibes. His handling of the economy, his people who believe he can handle the economy better than Harris, went up after the debate, according to CNN. The independent fact checkers, they may have fact-checked him and not Harris, but I do kind of wonder if that helps him. I do kind of wonder if the smug nature of ABC News' debate moderators actually helped Donald Trump, because it was so obvious they weren't doing the same to Harris. And that's the point. It's not that they were fact-checking Trump, it's that they didn't do it to Harris. You can complain, however, about the refs all you want, but if you're incapable of catching the football and making the play, doesn't matter that the refs were biased in the other person's favor. You're technically incapable of making the touchdown. That's on you. It's not on the refs. And Donald Trump was never able to make the touchdown last night, except in his closing statement. Donald Trump took the bait every single time. Yo, just to give you perspective, for a week now, for an entire week, in Politico, in Axios, in the New York Times, in the Washington Post, in the Wall Street Journal, in CNN, on the reporting of Fox News, every single news network said the Harris team is going to try to get into Donald Trump's headspace and throw him off his game. And one of the things Harris intends to do is needle him about his rallies. That was reported by Axios, by the New York Times, by the Wall Street Journal, by the Washington Post, by ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News, and Newsmax. And guess what? She did it, and boy, did he take the bait. Oh, he took he couldn't help but try to defend his rallies. And from that moment, his mood changed in the debate. They played him, and he took it. If I were a fisherman and I had fish taking as much bait as Donald Trump was taking, I would be smoking the fish to preserve it for the next 5 years, because Donald Trump took every bit of bait they threw in. The moderators baited him, and he took it. Kamala Harris baited him. He was an easy mark on them last night, and it threw him off his game. And for you Democrats who are laughing at this and thinking, oh, Schadenfreude, no, I'm enjoying listening to this coverage of Erickson pointing out how Donald Trump threw the debate. Y'all know he lost all the debates in 2016 and still beat Hillary Clinton. It wasn't the Russians, it was her. And that's the problem for Kamala Harris. It's her. And people watched that debate last night, and they were completely turned off by Donald Trump's performance, but they were really turned off by Harris's inability to talk about the economy and her ability to pivot and separate herself from Joe Biden. She can say all she wants, but Donald Trump is running against me, and I'm not Joe Biden, but she is the Harris and the Biden-Harris administration, and she wrapped herself in the administration last night, could not put distance between herself and it, and that's going to matter way more than a terrible debate. And Trump has things he can do to mitigate the fallout, particularly starting today. Get out there and point out that they asked her a softball question at the beginning of the debate. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And she could not answer it. And that's going to matter much more.
Blinds.com Cyber Monday Last Chance is happening now. Don't miss out on up to 45% off site-wide. A Blinds.com design expert can help you make the perfect selection on your schedule. We can handle everything from measure to your whole home installed for one low cost. With over 25 million windows covered, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Save up to 45% site-wide, plus a free professional measure right now at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry. Everybody's talking about it. Billions of dollars invested, so buckle up. The problem is AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing, and of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less, like Uber, 8x8, Databricks, Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/Erickson, ERICKSON. That's oracle.com/Erickson. Oracle.com/Erickson. Go check them out today. Look, I will take your phone calls when we come back. 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, text Eric, ERICK, to 33777 so that you can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, all that. But I got to say something. One of the wild things in the book of Revelation is how so many people fall for the Antichrist, who can do the mocking, pretend miracles. People think he's the second coming of the Messiah. C.S. Lewis gets to this in The Last Battle in the Chronicles of Narnia series, where a donkey dresses up in a lion outfit, and people look at this donkey and this poor fitting lion's outfit, and they say, oh, it's the return of Aslan. It's the return of Aslan. And a lot of them look at it like, that's not Aslan. Look at it. But a lot of people fall for it. A huge army fall for it. And you leave yourself scratching your head like, how are people going to fall for this? And even like Scripture says, people in the church will fall away from the church. And then I continue to get emails and comments from people over the pets being eaten in Springfield, Ohio. And it makes me realize, there have been no documented cases of house pets being eaten in Springfield, Ohio. And yet people are sending me videos from the formerly subsidized by Russia Twitter edgelords showing a mentally ill woman in Canton, Ohio, who ate a cat. And they've changed the video to claim that it's Springfield, Ohio. And people are like, oh, look, Erickson, you're lying. You're lying. Look, I have the video right here from Springfield, Ohio, except it's not Springfield, Ohio. It's Canton, Ohio. It's not a Haitian woman. It's a black woman who is an American citizen who is clearly having a psychotic break, who got arrested. I totally understand how people are going to fall for the Antichrist now. And part of it is they're going to want to believe because they've isolated themselves in an echo chamber, and everyone in the echo chamber is going to tell them it's Jesus. It's Jesus. And they're not actually going to be grounded in any sort of truth. They're just going to be easily manipulated fools. And they're going to say, oh, look, it must be Jesus. These people from the internet who I don't actually know, but I listen to, they're telling me it's Jesus. So it must be Jesus. Pay no attention to the strings on the body that's being raised. It finally makes sense to me. People want to be manipulated. The video you're seeing of the woman who ate the cat is from Canton, Ohio, is an American who's having a psychotic break. No house pets have been eaten in Springfield. Geese? Appears to be geese. Just no house pets. Totally explains the Antichrist, though. Now, I got to tell you about Hillsdale College, because Hillsdale College, if you go to ericforhillsdale.com, you can get a lot of free, great content for your mind there. Instead of being catechized by the crazy on social media, at least surround yourself with good stuff from Hillsdale College at ericforhillsdale.com. You don't pay a penny for it. From Primus, for their great podcasts on the Hillsdale Podcast Network, available on your podcasting app. For a lot of the lecture series you get from Hillsdale, it's all available. ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. I have learned a lot from Hillsdale College over the years, and Imprimis that comes to my mailbox is show prep for my mind. I love Imprimis. I love Hillsdale. I love the work Dr. Larry Arnn does. So if you haven't checked out Hillsdale, you should. They even have great K through 12 education for homeschools and class school, Christian schools and charter schools. You can find out all about it. Build a relationship with them. Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. That's ericforhillsdale.com. Go check out Hillsdale College today. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. You know how I know that all of you know that he didn't have a good debate last night? Because it does not matter the situation. But if I say anything critical at all about Donald Trump, I get piles of hate mail by the time I come back from commercial break. And I know what my ratings are. I know they're listening. But there isn't any hate mail today. There's just a general recognition that he didn't have a good debate. But again, I don't know that it matters because he had bad debates in 2016 and still won. I will tell you, however, the data has just come out during commercial break. The two TV markets in the nation that had the highest percentage of residents watching, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. The Philadelphia and Pittsburgh markets had disproportionately the number of people in those cities watching the debate compared to everywhere else. Per capita, Pittsburgh and Philly had more people watching than any other city in the country. And it's all coming down to Pennsylvania. So now to the phones, 877-973-7425. Brenda, you're going to be up next. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, Eric. Thank you for taking my call. And also thank you for not trying to pull the wool over the Republicans' eyes by saying he won the debate. He did not win the debate. He let Kamala get under his skin, but there were so many opportunities that were missed. He didn't talk enough about his economy plan and how that is, he talked about what he did in 2016, but repeat what you're going to do now. And I think that if Trump can just stay on topic on economy and border, he's not going to win on abortion or fuel or anything. It's the economy. And the fact that he just let her laugh throughout the debate, she laughed and smiled and giggled. What is there to giggle about, Kamala?
Right.
The American people are crying all the way to the grocery store, all the way to the gas pump. There's so many things he could have said, but he was so in tune on defending himself. There's no reason to defend yourself on anything but the economy and no wars and fracking. That's all you need to talk about. Let the size of your whatever, let it go.
Look,
all that go.
Brenda, I'm glad you said that, and there's a there's a corollary to this, and that is that though his performance was not great, I go back to the CBS News focus group of undecided voters in Pennsylvania, and they really wanted answers from Kamala Harris on how her economy would be different from Joe Biden's, and she failed to deliver on that. And in the end, that may wind up being more meaningful than Trump's handling of the debate. Because again, he always has bad debates, other than the one with Joe Biden where it took Joe Biden out. And Trump had a bad debate that night. It's just Joe Biden had a terrible debate that night. I mean, I said the next day that that Biden's bad performance was overshadowing Trump didn't have a great debate. He never does. But it doesn't matter. The economy matters. Immigration matters. Crime matters. And if he can just stay on those messages, I still think he can win the election. One more call this segment. Jasper, you're going to be up next. Welcome.
Hey, Eric. How you doing, man?
Great. What's going on?
All right. So I am a undecided voter. Well, now I'm voting for, I already got my vote. So, and Donald Trump, in my opinion, did just enough, by a hair, to swing me his way, to be honest with you. The biggest thing on me is border security. And what did Kamala and Biden do last 4 years? Really nothing. I just can't go back. I work. I'm the only one that's working. I am struggling along with everybody else. I remember when Trump was president, we didn't have this inflation. And that's, to me, is important. Now, the abortion thing, listen, no one is going to fix the abortion. Let's just be real. I don't think they're going to come to a common ground. That's always going to be an issue. But what can be fixed right now is the border, okay, is inflation, okay, and, just lower costs, right? It's way too much for all of us to handle. We remember what Donald Trump did.
So, Jasper, you get to the core point of this, goes back to that focus group of voters that Trump had a bad debate, but Kamala Harris needed to reassure voters that she was going to give them something different from what they have right now, and I don't think she did that. The problem for Kamala Harris, and by the way, we're all focused on Kamala Harris, and we're all focused on Donald Trump. But the voters, the undecided voters, they're focused on the issues. And this was the very first moment of that debate, and this is where things went for Kamala Harris.
Do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing. And the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people.
Okay, wait. Why is that? Why do we have a shortage, and why are they more expensive?
We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children. My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to start up small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billions.
Okay. I'm going to rewind this video here very quickly, and I'm going to play the beginning again for you to hear the question.
Do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
That's David Murr. That's the very first question in the debate. The very first question. She never answered it. She never answered it. If you're an undecided voter and you already have an opinion on Trump, and almost every voter does, all he did last night was reiterate your opinion about him. But you're there to find out about Kamala Harris because you prefer Donald Trump's policies. Remember, a majority of the country, a majority, not a plurality, but a majority of voting Americans prefer Donald Trump's policies to what they have now. The very first question out of the gate was, are people better off now than they were 4 years ago? She never said yes. What she said is that we need new government programs because people can't afford to buy houses now. They could when Trump was president. So, yeah, Donald Trump had a bad debate. You know, the fix for the debate, honestly, is to bring back Kellyanne Conway. In 2016, in the last 2.5 months of that campaign, Trump's campaign had Kellyanne Conway come in. She took his cell phone. She got all those people out of his headspace, and she made him focus. And every day she gave Donald Trump metrics he had to hit. And those metrics were his messaging. And every day he had to hit those metrics, every single day. If Trump wanted his phone back, he had to hit those metrics. If he didn't hit the metrics, he didn't get his phone back. And you know what he did? He hit his metrics every day. He closed every day. He stayed on message every day. They need Kellyanne Conway to come back and put him in that bubble and get the Laura Loomers of the world out of his head, get the Charlie Kirks of the world out of his head. Because every day Donald Trump needs to be on stage and say that biased, disgusting ABC News debate started with the question to Kamala Harris, are people better off now than they were 4 years ago? And she could not even answer the question. And she couldn't say yes because she'd be lying. Do that every day. Then do whatever you want, say whatever you want, talk about all the pets being eaten, but you start everything with Kamala Harris could not answer the very first question of the debate. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Couldn't do it, because if she said yes, you know and I know she'd be lying, and she knows she'd be lying, which is why she couldn't answer the question. Now let's talk about pets being eaten in Springfield, Ohio. Rawr. This isn't hard. Undecided voters didn't get what they wanted from Donald Trump last night, but they weren't expecting to get anything from Donald Trump because they already have an opinion of Donald Trump. They were expecting something from Kamala Harris. And what they got was she's good on a debate stage. What they did not get was she's got a plan to distance herself from Joe Biden's economy because it's the Biden-Harris administration. So Trump still has a lot of leeway to recover from this. This debate at the end of the day is not going to matter so much as what people are feeling on Election Day, and that's going to come down to the economy and illegal immigrants. All he's got to do is stay on the message. He doesn't need another debate. The problem with this one is they played him. They knew exactly how to get under his skin and knew he would react, which is probably why you don't want him on another debate stage with her. What you do want is you want him across America in the swing states pointing out Kamala Harris couldn't answer the very first question of the debate. And she's been there for 3.5 years and has done nothing. The fact that he saved that for the end of the debate, he should have started right there. But you know what? He's got plenty of time. There are 55 days. Kamala Harris has been there 3.5 years, and she couldn't answer that question, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Because if she said yes, we all know, and she knows, she would have been lying. Now, one of the groups that's going out and making that case is Americans for Prosperity. They're a do tank, not a think tank. They go into the states and they do the business of the conservative movement. They get you involved in the process, door knocking, helping people get out the vote, finding new voters, persuading voters, giving them the issues, giving them the facts, giving real solutions to local and state government to help fix schools with school choice, giving real solutions to local government and state government on how to secure the border and deal with illegal immigrant populations in your state, giving local and state government real solutions on helping families and small businesses. You can be a part of it. They've got chapters in probably just about every single state. All you have to do is go to americansforprosperity.org/volunteer. americansforprosperity.org/volunteer. Go to americansforprosperity.org/volunteer today. Sign up. They've got chapters in almost every state. You can be a part of the ground game in the movement of this country to fight for free markets and free people, to bring back common sense conservative solutions to the country. americansforprosperity.org/volunteer. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I keep getting questions on this, and I want you to know that the Federalist has obtained a 911 phone call from Springfield, Ohio, with an eyewitness explaining that the Haitians are taking the geese. In fact, we've had people call into this program. Just so you know, I'm on WHIO in Dayton, Ohio, and it is the big talk station. Also in Springfield, covers the area. I have a lot of listeners in Springfield, Ohio, and in Dayton, and in Yellow Springs, and they have all been calling to make sure I understand that, yes, the Haitians are taking the geese. People have seen it. There's now a 911 phone call of it. No one has any record of the Haitians killing people's house pets. It's all a friend of a friend heard it from someone who saw it on Facebook, and it turns out it's Canton, Ohio. It's not Springfield, Ohio. But the geese, true story. It's not disinformation. There is a 911 phone call. We've had people call this program. The funny thing is that everybody who calls the program and talks to Charlie or sends me an email says, not a big deal. They're gross. They poop everywhere, and we don't have a problem with it anymore because Haitians have eaten them all. It's like the one good social thing they've done. As an aside, I should have you know, I had a lady email me. Not only did she email me, she emailed all of my superiors at my flagship station to complain about my comments on Canadian geese. Number one, calling them Canadian geese, not Canada geese. And number two, suggesting that they're better off dead than alive, and wants me to apologize for suggesting harm to the geese. As I have said multiple times on this program this week, it is unfortunately against the law to kill them. If they attack you, however, you can defend yourself. There is a hunting season, which should probably be expanded, but they are migratory vermin. So you just do need to understand they're migratory vermin. They're protected under the law. They shouldn't be, but they are. So don't go out there and kill them unless it's hunting season. But yeah, I wish they were dead. I'm not going to apologize for that. They're gross, nasty, disgusting, mean and vicious spawn of Satan from the bowels of hell creatures. The Canadian geese and those who feed them and those who insist they be called Canada geese are all proof that hell exists. I just want to be very clear with you. If I have alienated you and offended you for my comments on Canadian geese and how horrible they are, I'm very sorry that you are offended, but I take back nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're horrible creatures. They poop all over the yard, and they honk at you, and they chase you, and they chase your kids, and they've taken over. They are like feathered rats, and they should be dispatched. Sadly, you have to do it during hunting season. This hour of the program is brought to you by First Liberty Building and Loan, the Frost family. They're in Noonan, so they got Canadian geese all over there. They would agree with me, I bet. But they want to help your business grow. You're buying a building, you're building a building, you're buying a franchise, you're getting a heavy equipment loan. First Liberty Building Loan might be able to help you. Reach out to them, firstlibertyga.com. Tell them I sent you, firstlibertyga.com. When we come back, we're going to move on from the debate. We have to talk about the Senate. And, of course, we do have to talk about September 11th, 2001, because 23 years ago today, the entire world changed, much not for the better. And I want to explore that with you. But before we get there, we got to get to the U.S. Senate. There is more polling out of Montana. It looks like the GOP is on the verge of being able to take the Senate.